studios of Creative Conversations with Dr. C. You are entering the studios of Creative Conversations with Dr. C.
Welcome to the conversation.
Well, hello, my beautiful friends. Another edition of Creative Conversation coming your way. Today is a very important day. We are celebrating Women History Month, and I will tell you, we have history tonight. Had the opportunity to meet this beautiful spirit, Dr. Regina Jennings, last month in Maryland at the Black Literary Month weekend that was put on by Dr. Rhonda Lawson. And when I tell you, I was starstruck. It was just an amazing feeling to be in the room with such history, such knowledge, such power. And you can feel it in everything that she said, in her poetry that she read. And so I am equally grateful and honored to have her on my platform, me, little old me. And I'm just equally grateful to bring her to the platform tonight to talk. So Dr. Jennings is, as I said, a living history. She is a history maker. She is a part of the original Black Panthers. She is a Panther sister. And I am equally grateful. I was crying earlier because how blessed I am. If you knew my story 3 years ago, I wouldn't be sitting here. But God had a plan for me, and this plan for today was for her to be on this platform. So as we partake in this conversation, I want to be able to give her her flowers, her roses tonight. So without further ado, I am going to bring on Dr. Regina Jennings.
Oh, Dr. Miller.
Oh, don't make me cry. I'm a crybaby. So it's an amazing feeling, to be able to be in your presence, to be able to honor you as we embark in this month of Women History Month. But our history is all year round. We are history. But I have a living history. I have somebody who is history on my platform. And I am so grateful. I told the audience that I had the opportunity to meet you, to actually have conversations with you last month at a brunch put on by my good friend, Dr. Rhonda Lawson. And I was in awe. I was like, can she keep talking? Just let her keep talking. I just want to hear what she has to say. And if I can't say anything else, Dr. Jennings, you are beautiful. And I tell people all the time, that melanin in our skin, don't cry. But enough about me, Dr. Jennings. I just want you to just tell the audience who you are. And as I kind of gave a little bit, that you are an original Black Panther. So I'm gonna let you take over and just tell the audience about you, and then we'll get into the conversation.
Okay. Well, I am Regina Jennings. And while my life was unfolding, I didn't think of it as special in any kind of way. I left home when I was 14, and I left home at a time, it was the 1960s, all praise due. Martin Luther King was still alive, and I knew of him. Malcolm X was still alive, but I did not know about Malcolm X. But what I did learn What I did learn is that I was unloved. I
Mm,
knew that I was unloved as a child because when I did leave home, nobody came after me. So my suspicions of being ugly, nasty, terrible, a freak
mm,
really exploded when no one came after me. And you see, back then, I'm talking about 1964, we were called Negroes. We weren't called Black. And you can
mm,
forget African American, just forget it.
mm.
So I never liked being a Negro anyway.
Wow.
I would hear that term when
Mhm,
I was in school. So I didn't like that. Then to compound not liking being a Negro,
mhm,
to not be loved and nourished and nurtured by family members.
mhm.
Oh, Dr. Miller, I just felt like the most awful individual in the world. I
Wow.
didn't have any kind of a concept that was meaningful about a God figure. Now, my grandmother, my mother, my aunt would send me and my sisters to church, but
Mhm,
church was so confusing. I mean,
mm.
there was this white Jesus on the stained glass window, and I'm sure he was nice, but I didn't know what they were talking about.
Right.
So at 14, I made this decision. I said, well, I'm not going home. I'm not going home.
Mm,
So I had to figure out how I was going to exist on the streets. Dr. Miller, those were terrible times. I mean, they were so bad, but this is what did happen. I ran into a lot of throwaway Black children. Oh, yes, I did.
mm.
This is my term now. See, I'm a doctor now. 14, I was just crazy Regina. Okay, and I
Right,
wasn't even
right.
Regina. I had a nickname, and I'm not going to tell y'all what it
Okay.
was, but I had this little nickname, so I was just crazy her, right?
Mhm,
So, like I said though, I got with these other throwaway children. We
mm.
lived in abandoned houses. I would watch the rats go by. Cause see, a rat, see, he ain't a mouse. There's a big difference.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Rats and mice
yes.
don't even live together. If you
Mhm,
got mice, you have mice.
mhm.
Little tick, tick, tick. When you have a rat will come in and say, yeah, like, how y'all doing? I'm
Mm.
here. And
Exactly,
what you gonna do?
exactly.
So me and these other youngsters, we slept in the same bed. And I'm not even talking about sex now.
Mhm,
We just didn't when we found a place
mhm.
where we could crash, I told so many lies that it just makes me laugh. Oh, we go to the landlord. Oh, my parents were killed. And so can I just have a place, just a bit? And we would laugh because these places were so nasty, they should have been burnt down, dilapidated buildings. Okay.
Right.
But anyway, so me and my friends, we'd all sleep in the same bed. And I was so young
Mhm,
that I can absolutely recall I would go to the oven and open it up and hope something would be in that oven because we didn't have money. We
yeah.
didn't have money. So then how was I going to eat? So then I figured it out. I figured out ways, I would show up at some of my friends' home around dinner time. And of course, they'd say, well, why don't you have dinner with us? Oh, that was great. And I started carrying little plastic bags to put food in for later. And
Mm,
then, of course, I got on drugs. Now, I needed to be on drugs. I mean, how could I live like this? How could I live unloved? How could I
mhm.
live a Negro? How could
Right,
I live a second or third or fourth class citizen in this country? So
yeah.
I got high every day. Now, I never touched the hard stuff. It would
Mhm.
always be marijuana, which is legal now. How you like that? But nevertheless, marijuana, and then I would take, they were called bennies on the street, but Benzedrine. It was like cocaine, so it would lift me up, and I would think
Mm,
I was just great, and I would think that all of my conversation was marvelous, as silly as it was. But
mhm.
in any event, by the time I was 15, I got to thinking, I said, I can't keep living like this because I got into, stealing, selling
Mhm,
drugs, I was raped so many times, I don't even want to discuss it. And wait, I was even robbed. Now, you know, I'm laughing about it now because the brothers who robbed me, I'm like, they knew I didn't have anything, but anyway, I was robbed, all that. So I had decided, and I was going to school off and on.
Mm-hmm.
I would just,
Wow.
I think I'll go to school today. So I had like, by the time I was 16, I had like 3 different awful places that I could crash, right? So I had
Mm-hmm.
clothes here, clothes there, boom, boom. So I decided, okay, I will go to school, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go to school, but by with the way that I was living, my friends in school seemed so young to
Mm-hmm.
me because I started hanging out with much older people. And I hated school. I despise,
Oh,
oh, was school terrible? We
wow.
used to have Negro History Week, not month. See, we
Mm-hmm.
have expanded. I want y'all to know that. Uh,
Wow.
we had Negro History Week, and I hated it. I mean, they dragged out these old pictures of, and then on top of that, when they talked about slavery, I was like, slaves? They look so terrible and tattered, and I just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
look good, you know. I was a blonde one week, and what else? Silver streaks, and you know, I was going to cabaret. I mean, what? So, um, after a while, though, I think it was around the time I was 16 and a half, going into 17. I knew something told me, and it was God, but at the time, something said, "Look, you're not gonna last out here. This is not this is not good for you."
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about it and I said, all right, I have one skill. My mother had taught me how to type. I
Okay.
said, okay, I'm going to apply for jobs. Well, one of the jobs that I won't even tell you about the first job because it was so racist. I don't want you
Mm.
to try. Anyway,
Whew.
the next job that I got, it was with an all Black organization called the Urban League of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That was absolutely God,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because I upped my age, said I graduated. I took a typing test and I could always type. And I was as high as a kite. Now, this is what I did not know. The people who tested me, it was 2 sisters who tested me, 2 Black women.
Mm-hmm.
And a third guy came in. I didn't know his name at the time. Anyway, after I took the test and they said they'd get back with me, the
Mm-hmm.
guy who happened to be a reverend, Reverend Lawrence Henry, he's no longer on earth now. Love
Mm.
that man. Anyway, the women said, look, we can't hire her. I mean, she's not suitable.
Mhm.
The
Okay, 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 not
reverend
suitable.
said, no, no, that's just the kind of young person we should have here.
Mm,
Clearly, she needs some help. So
okay.
he fought for me, and because I did do well on the time, I could type, high or not high, I could type.
You can type, right.
So Brother Love, convinced the other 2 sisters to give me a chance.
Mhm,
Now I didn't know any of this at the time. I found this out later.
mhm,
So I got the job. I was so happy.
mm,
And I was coming to work high every day and typing and meeting people. I met Freedom Smitty, Freedom Jewel, because see, this is the 60s.
mhm,
And I saw a sister coming to the Urban League with a great big afro. I was stunned. I was
wow.
stunned. I had never seen such a haircut. And you know what they called them back in the 60s? A freedom cut. A free-
Mm.
and this big afro sister, just picture Angela Davis, great
Angela
big
Davis,
old
yes,
bush,
uh-huh.
right? She came up to my desk. She said, how you doing, sister? And I was like, she ain't my sister. But I said, okay. Huh? And she said, can I see Mr. So-and-so? Because she came for an appointment with
Mhm,
my boss.
okay.
So I'm like, is she nuts? How can she let white people know that our hair ain't like theirs. I
Mm,
didn't understand that. Then another good sister in that office
mhm,
came up to me one day and she said, Regina, I'd like for you to see a film. And I said, okay. She said, it's in my church. I said, oh, you want me to come to church like on Sunday? She said, no, this is an after hours kind of a film. And
mhm.
I just want you and a couple of us young sisters in the office to come and look. So I said, okay, because she was very, I too thought she was nuts because she had a little afro. So I knew she was crazy, but she was nice.
Mhm.
Now, I went to see the film. The film was Huey P. Newton and Bobby G. Seal. Why did she show me that? And they
Wow.
were standing up to the police and they had guns. By the way, had a little 38 myself, being on the
Mm.
street.
Being on the street,
Um,
right? Mhm.
yeah, so they had guns, leather jacket, they were handsome, I said, "Whoa." And they were standing up to the police. Now, let me step back for a minute. In fact, I want to read a poem. Can I read
Okay.
a poem,
Yes,
Colinthia?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, let me find this poem so people can really understand um my position with the police. Now, what page is that on? Okay, this is awful. I can't find the page. Let me do this, or I'll talk about it. I had run-ins with the police. I certainly had run-ins with the police on the streets, but it wasn't even just on the street where I had problems with the police. I should have bookmarked this. Oh, here it is. Thank goodness.
She
When
got
I
it,
was
guys. She got it.
I got it. When I was about I had to be about 12 because I was still jumping double dutch.
Okay. She was
And
jumping.
I'm out in the street, Annan Street, South Philly, and some of my friends, my little boyfriends, not boyfriend, but little boy friends,
Mhm.
they playing dead blocks. I'm
Mhm.
jumping double dutch. And my friend Frank, and I was crazy about Frank. He's no longer on earth now, but back then that was my ace boon coon. I was
Mm.
crazy about Frank. And this is what happened. Jumping double dutch. 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 92, 10, 20, 30. They came with clubs, smashed my friend's face, splattering blood, dragged him in an alley of urine and cigarette stubs. Frank's mouth hollered, but only no sound came out. His arms flapping bits of paper. They beat Frank, clobbered him with clubs, stomped him with brodans until one jumped up and oinked. Wait, boys, wait. The one I saw was bigger. Wait, boys, wait. We beat the wrong. And I'm sure your audience can fill in that last word that I rarely ever use.
Mhm.
So I couldn't stand the Good. They
Mhm.
were brutes. They were
Yeah.
bullies. They were awful.
Wow.
They oh, so I'm 12. Now, a few years later, once I hit the streets and I was in, after hours clubs and all this kind of stuff, I saw the police at their worst.
Wow.
I couldn't stand them. Then, like I mentioned, Martin Luther King, heck, turn on the TV, there's Martin Luther King, and there's the police knocking nonviolent people. I
Yes.
was like, something need to be done about those Gestapo Nazi pigs. Now, I
Mm.
didn't call them pigs at the time, that came later.
Mm.
So I'm seeing Huey and Bobby, and I didn't know what they were saying because Huey was spouting the law according to number 720 of the penal code. And yeah, I just said, gosh, they're gorgeous. They're
Mm.
handsome. They're brave. So by the time the movie went off, I turned to the sister that invited me. I said, well, where they at? I want to join them. And she laughed. She said, oh, they're not here in Philadelphia. They're in Oakland, California. Little did she know. My mind was saying, oh, really? Oakland, California? Like California? Like, and there was a song out then called California Dreaming. And I was like
Yes.
California Dreaming? I was like, hey, I'm going to catch the next plane. Once I get my paycheck, I'm going to Oakland, California to be with Huey Newton and Bobby Seale. All right. Now, I didn't even think about it. I think I might have told one girlfriend of mine. I certainly didn't tell my family because I saw them off and on.
Mhm.
And hey, I got the money together. I was so young, I could fly standby, you know.
Mhm.
In fact, I
Mhm.
was even in first class.
Wow.
Yes, I had my first time on a plane, Calenthia. You listen, I don't know what I thought I was going to do with them brothers. I swear I don't know what I thought I was going to do with them, but I put on my tightest pants. They were white with black pinstripes and my highest heel that I could kind of walk in because I never
Mhm.
was heels, but
Mhm.
I thought that they, look glamorous.
Yeah.
Oh, and I put up my hair. Okay. I said, I got on that plane. And when they put me in first class, it was so funny because the white woman I was sitting next to, she was like, are you sure this is your seat? And I was like, yes, it was. So in any event, I hit California.
Wow.
And
What year was that?
this was 1967.
Okay, 67.
1967. So what I would do, well, first of all, I knew a couple people in California. They were drug
Okay.
dealers. And so I got with them and I didn't tell them what I wanted to do because I couldn't explain it, Calinthia.
Right.
How
You
do
were
you
still
tell a bunch
yeah.
of unconscious people? Well, I came out here to join the Black Panther Party for self-defense. As I did. I couldn't put that into language.
Right.
So what I did do though, I wanted to see the pimps in California. They were gorgeous. Good they were fabulous. So I knew I wasn't going into that lifestyle, but I just wanted to see them. And
Mhm.
the prostitutes, what can I tell you? This was my world. They look like models. I was like, California is deep.
Mhm.
So because of that, and because I was so sidetracked, but I did get a job. I did get another typing job. I had a little job. So I'd walk down to the Panther office and I would just look in.
Mm.
And then if anybody came to the door, I ran. So this went on, and I'm like, Regina, come on. What are you going to do? I was still getting high. I was like, but they're so serious. Am I that serious? Can I really be, a
Mhm.
Panther? So one day, I absolutely got the nerve. By the way, I was so cute then, Calinthia. I had on
You're
suede.
beautiful now, Dr. Jennings. You are
Oh,
gorgeous
thank you so
now.
much, my dear. Well, in my
Yes.
youngest, I had on a leather skirt and a suede. Oh, so by the way, I got all dressed up again to go into the Panther office.
Mm.
What was I thinking? So anyway, there was this guy. He was the officer of the day. I didn't know that then. He just looked like a big football player. He was like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, what you want?" I said, "Well, my name's Regina, and I'm here from Philadelphia, and I want to join the Black Panthers." Yes. Why you want to join the Panthers? Because I want to kill all the white people that are in America. So the other Panthers, I saw them all turn around, and they went right back to their business, like what I had said wasn't even. Now, this is what I did not know. I found this out later, and I want to
Mhm.
share it with your audience. They thought I was absolutely nuts. But the officer, the captain, he said, no, she's not really crazy. She's not, because they thought, some said, look, she's FBI.
Mhm.
And the captain said, she's too stupid to be FBI. Nobody would. FBI ain't gonna come in here and say that. Okay? So anyway, they didn't get, I put down my name and address and all like that. This what I didn't know. Like I worked in San Francisco. And sometimes, Cynthia, I did feel like somebody's following me. But I thought, no, Regina,
Wow.
you know, you still getting high, you paranoid. That them Panthers followed me because see, half of the office said she's FBI. The other half said that crazy black sister is not FBI. She's too silly, too obvious, you know, because Calenthia, Dr. Miller, FBI look like you. FBI look like me. FBI look like your mom. FBI look like your they so smooth, that's how they get in. I was so raucously obvious. You know, they just thought I was another crazy black person. And they had many in the Black Panther Party. So what really got me though, when I went through the orientation to be a Panther, they knew that I was getting high.
Oh, okay.
Them brother, and it was the brothers, them brothers went off on me because I was so careless and unthoughtful that I would even bring marijuana, which was illegal then, into the office. They went off. They had me crying. They had me, you're not taking it seriously. What, you want to bring the pigs down on us for this, for a rap like this? And we trying to stand up for black people, and you trying to get us locked up on a humble? Oh my God. But anyway, once I went through the orientation to be a member of the Black Panther Party for self-defense, it was glorious. I found purpose. I found an understanding of who I was racially in this country, what had happened to our people. And this is the beautiful part, Dr. Miller, what we could do to change the hell that we were facing in this country.
Yes.
I loved those brave brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
I had never met any sisters and brothers like that. I'd never seen anything quite like that. Their example was just, it was awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
There was a sister named Kathleen Cleaver. She's still here. She's still on earth. She was the communication secretary of the Black Panther Party for self-defense. She would be one of the people that would be on the news talking about the Black Panthers and what we were doing. And because I could type, they assigned me to her to type up her speeches.
Wow.
And I would just look at her, and she had this big afro. Like my afro, I was still getting my hair together. They had to pour bleach all over my bleach and Tide, you know, and straighten that out and put all these little curlers in so I could have it could go up.
Go up, right?
Yeah. So I'm just watching. I had never seen an articulate, fabulous, courageous Black woman like Kathleen Cleaver. So in the Panthers, I got to see examples of what we could be. I never saw myself as a leader, but I saw these other young, because look, what am I? I'm 16, I'm 17. Kathleen Cleaver was like only 25. We ain't talking about, you know, old people here.
Yeah, young folks.
Right. And she was just such a wonderful example. And what they did, more than teaching us how to shoot, because we did have the range that we would go to, we had to practice, because see, our mandate was this: if the police shot in, we had to shoot back, because we were the Black Panther Party for self-defense.
Yes.
Self-defense or race defense. We never went out looking for any kind of police person to harm. But the deal was this, and this is what we were teaching our people. If they shoot at you, you had the legal right to shoot back.
Yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
So,
yeah.
yes, we learned that. But what really blew my mind, which I never knew, we had to read, Olympia.
I can imagine.
We had to read. And I was like, what do you mean we got to read France for now? Who, what? I was, because me and school were not
Best
friendly,
friends.
but they insisted that we read. How can you learn the world? How can you learn your own history if you don't read? I was shocked. I was shocked.
Wow.
I was
But it
shocked.
allowed you to, but it allowed you to evolve into who you are right now. Having the foundations and seeing people that look like you who are wanting to do, as I say, stand in purpose and understand the purpose, understand the legacy that they are trying to lead us to. You had to learn it, because I always tell my children, I said, once you learn it and master it, nobody could take it from you.
Exactly. And see, I never heard such. So you're a good parent. I was on my own a lot.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot of the filth of the country, and I do mean the filth. And once I got in this organization that was so serious, in fact, what I did, I called up my girlfriends in Philly. I said, y'all need to come out here. They were like, what? I said, look, I'm in the Panthers. I said, you ain't never seen. Now, we all
Yeah.
16, 17, and 18. All we wanted was a good boyfriend. Now, so I said, y'all got to come out here and see these brothers, because I had never seen brothers like that.
Wow.
Brothers oars, I never saw brothers like that. And I am so happy that the Creator allowed me to see such a group.
Yes.
And then when they told us, look, we got to help Black people. We got to help Black poor people. We got to show them how to do for self. I was like, okay. And so I'll never forget it. I will never forget this day. My captain called us all together. He's dead now, my captain. He called us all together, and he said, look, I just got the order from Bobby Seale that we're going to start a breakfast for school children.
Yes.
I was like, a breakfast for school children? I said, okay, that sounds nice. So how are we going to do that? Well, this is what we're going to do. This is my captain talking now. He said, I'm going to select some of the meanest looking Panthers here in this office. And we're going to go to the various grocery stores right in our community. And he said, nobody talks but me. Okay? He said, now, I don't want y'all to carry when we go, but act like you got something on you. So, he chose me. Now, I had to laugh because I didn't think I was the meanest looking. But anyway, he chose me and others, and we went to our first grocery store. We all followed his orders. I was like, I looked at that manager, because it was my captain who called for the manager. And I looked at him like, I will kill you. Now, I didn't say these words,
but your facial expression said it.
Yeah, and I had my hand like, yeah, say no, punk. Say no and see what happens. So all of us were looking like that. And it was so nice, because my captain said, Mr. Whoever, we are members of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, and we want to start a free breakfast for school children program. And since you're in our neighborhood and you're making money from the people who live in this neighborhood, all we are requesting is that you give us some of your sausages, some of your eggs, and some of your pancake mix, and we can make breakfast for our hungry children in this neighborhood. Okay? Now, what do you think about that? Most of the grocery places that we visited, they said, oh, okay. Now, some who gave my captain a little bit of noise, we would step up,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, uh, well, can I just give y'all the sausages that are about to expire? As long as they weren't expired. That's what my captain said.
Mm-hmm.
Because breakfasts for the school children are going to be daily. So we
Mm-hmm.
can take the ones, by date
Mm-hmm.
and feed our babies, our boys and girls.
Wow.
Yes, we did. Now, Calenthea, let me
Yes.
find this poem. We had to good. Now, this is what I didn't know, but I didn't care. I didn't care when I found out. We had to get up before dawn. Okay? We had to get up before dawn because, see, we had to be at the church to cook the food,
For the baby.
set up the tables,
Mm-hmm.
get the chairs ready, put the plates on. We had to do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to get up before dawn to get to the church to feed the hungry children. Now I want to do another poem. It's called Routine. That's what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
All over again, a blackberry morning, a licorice longing to kiss an old lover. All over again, a blackberry morning, bullets rest in chambers, unlaced combat boots relaxed by beds, mattresses, walls. I wait for water in a glass shower, clarity splashes, old Levi's and my big black bush. In a misty mirror, I unplait my freedom, hair signaling morning stars, forking and pulling up an ancient past. Panthers in the bedroom, living room, bathroom, growl, laugh, scowl, count weapons, and cleanse bodies. On this very black morning, we prepare for the knock of panthers standing around the swimming pool, standing like pieces in a game of chess. I move to secure my place. We walk, unsmiling sisters and brothers, bursting through doors of damaged glass. In a panther van, we ride, whispering a pattern of plans. While outside, the stars surrender. While inside, we rocket ship through space. While outside, a kaleidoscopic sky. Midnight morning flaking into daylight. So that's what it was like when we would get up, because we lived communally. Like I said, Panthers in the living room, dining room, hey,
Everywhere.
this is what we did. Okay. And by the way, when I think back on it, there were no altercations. I'm very serious about this. And
Mm-hmm.
we were living communally. There were no altercations between us because, as different as we all were on mission. Our mission was to empower Black people, to
Mm-hmm.
give Black people what they needed. And let
Mm-hmm.
me also just add this for your listeners. White children came to the breakfasts for school children. Oh, yes, they did. And do you think we turned them away? Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
White children came, Chicano children came. It was mostly Black, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those were the kids that we thought we would be. It was incredible when I not only saw all the beautiful kids. Oh, I felt so in love with those children. When they came in, sometimes their parents were with them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, no, all the time, we fed their parents too. So when you talk to me about America being the richest country, now I'm jumping into the Regina of today.
Mm-hmm.
How can there be homelessness in the richest country in the world? How is that? Something is very, very wrong here
Yes.
because this is one of the richest countries in the world financially. And how did it become so rich? Well, heck, they had 300 years of free labor.
Yes, they did.
If you had centuries, Calenthea, Dr. Miller,
Yes,
of
ma'am.
somebody who washed your feet, pulled out your dress, ironed it for you, put it on, help put it on you, did your hair, cooked your food. You'd have lots of time to sit back and think up wonderful inventions.
Of
Why,
course.
you'd be the genius of geniuses, okay, with that foundation. And
Mhm.
I'm also bringing that up because I'm on YouTube now. It's a new show that I
I love
created.
it.
It's
Yeah.
called Things with Regina.
And guess what? I have that up for you, and I'm gonna put it up so people can see
Good,
it for you.
because I want your listeners to sign up.
Yes, this is I actually had the opportunity to hold on one second. I just had
Great.
wait a minute now. Don't make a lot out of myself now. Wait a minute, I just had it. I have that one. That's one of your websites, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody who wants to know anything more about the Black Panther Party, please come to apanthersister.com and you
Yes.
can communicate with me there as well. Apanthersister.com.
Yes.
Yes.
And then it was reading. It was actually, I just had it. I promise you, Dr. Jennings.
I
I
know
was
you
so
have.
excited.
It's called Readings with
I'm gonna
Regina.
find it. Yes, hold on. But it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. It's called Readings with Regina. Now, let me tell you why this is so key. First of all, I'm on YouTube. You don't have to, I'm not selling anything. You don't have to listen, the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, I have always done some kind of volunteer work. Always. Because what Bobby and Huey impressed in all of us, we
Yes.
cannot depend on this system to take care of all of our human needs. We cannot.
This
So
is
I have always volunteered. Okay. Now, I put this YouTube series together, Readings with Regina. Why? Because our people are not reading as much as they should.
yes.
And I literally read books to people.
And I
And
will tell you,
I have encouraged. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What did you say?
I was going to say, I really would encourage I had the opportunity to listen to one of your segments back in I think the end of January. And it was talking about how the enslaver tried to turn the Black people into animals and is it camaraderies?
Commodities.
Commodities.
Yes.
I was able to listen to a piece of that today, and I was just like amazed, right?
Yes.
You said what you said in that struck me was we as parents, even as parents, getting on there on Saturday mornings and having a history class taught to you is so imperative now. In order to know who we are and what we are and where we came from, allowing you to read these things to us and filling our heads with knowledge. As I said before, knowledge is key.
Yep.
Once you learn it, nobody can take it away from you.
That's
But
right.
I was able to listen to a little bit of the narrative that you were talking about, and what struck me was this book that you were talking about, Confession of an Economic Hitman.
Oh, yes.
I was like, interesting. Okay, okay. I'm gonna have to look that one up because right now we in such a time with this administration. And what really opened my eyes to that particular comments and narratives that you were talking about is that you pointed out in the dark. We are in the dark, but we should not be in the dark.
That's right.
We have the ability to be able to um, emerge from the darkness and be well versed about what we are about and how we can
Okay.
get to the next level.
That's
My
right.
my movement this year, and I've every year I have something that I always say in the forefront of the year, and this year is 2025 is the year of the shift.
Okay.
And so I say that because I don't mean shifting in our seats. We have to shift our mindset. We have to shift who we are around and those who are impressing on us things that don't make any sense, right? We are big enough and smart enough to be able to go to the resources, right? And be able to pull from the vine, pull from the orange tree, pull from wherever you need to pull from in
That's right.
order to enrich ourselves. Because in this administration that we're in right today, we need to shift. We must shift. We must be able to bring along those people like you, Dr. Jennings, to be able to fuel the fire, because it's now starting to flame out. We need to find a bonfire and get together. Let's figure out how we can get around the table and understand how we can come together collaboratively to be able to move to the next level. Because if we sit still, I can't even fathom what that's going to look like. But it just intrigued me when you said Saturday morning classes. If you don't do anything else, my listeners, get out there and listen to what she has to say. That particular narrative had over 1.5, maybe it was thousands of viewers. And just that little bit of maybe 15 minutes of that time that I listened to, I was like, I didn't know a John Perkins. Okay.
Right.
What else did we got to, what else can I get out of this? I need to be sitting at the front of the class every Saturday morning listening to this. This is something that we need to pass on to the next generations, right? We have to, because if we're strongholding this community that we're in now, and this administration that we're in now, they're strongholding us. They don't want us to learn anything. They want to keep us in a position where we're tied down and we know nothing. But this, what you're putting out on YouTube, allows us to see those things. And I give you kudos, Dr. Jennings, because
Thank you.
we need that. We need to understand our history.
Mm-hmm.
We need to understand our history so that we won't have to continue to replay that same narrative over and over and over.
Exactly.
We need to know.
Exactly.
We definitely need to know. So I would encourage, and I am going to find, it's on YouTube, my beautiful people. It's on Readings with Regina on YouTube. And I tell you, you will not be, it's just amazing. The narratives are amazing. And so I said every Saturday until I listen to all of your narratives,
Good.
I will be there Saturday mornings, every Saturday mornings.
Thank you. Because that's why because I come from Huey P. Newton and Bobby G. Seale's Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. I lived and saw the beginning of a free breakfast for school children program. I had no conception of it.
Yes.
None. Those two brothers did. And thank goodness they had an army of people who supported them and said, okay, we're going to do this. Because understand this, they had to get to churches. They had to get to community centers. Now, now I didn't even know this would happen, Dr. Miller. I didn't know this was going to happen, what I'm about to tell you. Because we were out there every day, Monday through Friday, feeding them kids, that's when the politicians said, well, dang, wow, goodness. Oh, them Panthers are showing us up. Oh, my goodness, we can't have that. That's when they put it in the schools. Don't get it twisted, people. Thank you, E.P. Newton and Bobby G. Seale, for that. Thank people like me and the other rank and file brothers and sisters that actually cooked the food, fed the kids, sang songs with the kids, loved the kids. Do you know I have met adults, and I am not exaggerating. They said, wait a minute, were you in Oakland? I was like, well, yeah, I'm in Philly. I'm a Philly girl. And they said, well, you fed me breakfast. Dr. Miller, you want to talk about crying? Now, you know I didn't remember, I have had several older people at this point remember me because I fed them when they were children. Wait a minute. No politician, no president, no senator, nobody was feeding them kids. The Panthers did that with our own blood, sweat, and tears. The brothers figured out, okay, how we going to get the food. We figured out how we were going to get the food. And then, I mean, who can't cook an egg and a sausage and toast some toast, So we got it. We did that. And this is what I want your audience to know too, Dr. Miller. You don't have to depend on them politicians to do anything. Now, you should hold their feet to the ground because they lie, then get in office. And don't do anything but feed the military industrial complex. Now, and I'm really talking about Black people, don't be dependent on these people. Stop acting like, well, the politician didn't, yes, hold their feet to the fire, but then God sent you to earth. Use your creativity.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Don't just look at movies. Don't just look at TV shows. Now, they all right. They in their place. Right? But read. Don't you know, people? Let me remind you, it was against the law for Black people to know how to read.
There you go.
Just a couple centuries ago. It was against the law. Because one of the books that I'm reading now to my audience is the narrative of Frederick Douglass.
Yes.
And he tells you outright what one of his masters said. You can't, one of his master's wife, Mrs. Auld, was teaching him, he was little Freddie, how to read. Her husband came in and said, no, you got to stop that, darling. No, you cannot teach a nigga. This is his words now. Read the narrative. You can't teach a nigga how to read. First of all, and this is what got me. First of all, the husband said, it's unlawful.
Yes.
So we are a people that learning to read was against the law. It was a crime.
Yeah.
Now, with all the technology that we have now, reading can sometimes seem obsolete. And you know what's happening with our children? They can't even write well.
Nope.
Because they text.
They text, yes.
They text. That has to stop. That's why Readings with Regina, I'm giving you everything that I know in small bits. And I do want you to use these sessions as after-school programs with your children.
Yes.
And for many adults too, because I've had adults get in touch with me and say, look, I did not know you just said on that podcast. I did not know. Of course, look, I am Dr. Regina Jennings. I am. And guess what? I want you all to know everything that I know. I got a baccalaureate in English. I got a double master's in English and creative writing, and I got a PhD in African American studies with a concentration on literature. I'm not playing. I have written 6 books. 4 of them are poetry, 2 of them are academic, and on one of my academic books, I won an International Book Award. You'll see all that when you come to my website. Why am I saying this? Am I saying this to brag? No. I'm saying it because it's true and because I know it. Do you really think I want to keep it to myself? Do you really think I want to leave the earth and go back to God and just me and God deal, or me and God's angels, we did? No. I went to school for you. And I also want you to know this. Huey P. Newton died, Dr. Huey P. Newton. Oh, yes. And here's something else you might not know. When Huey and Bobby met, they met in college. People don't often realize these were 2 college boys in the 60s. They met in college, not a street gang, not hanging on a corner, although, hanging on the corner, brothers do that. I'm not against it. But I do want you to know, though, those 2 brothers were in college. In fact, Bobby had just come out of, I think it was the Air Force. He had just come out of the Air Force. And he was going to school on that GI Bill. Okay. Huey wanted to be a lawyer. Okay. But they also knew, and they loved Martin Luther King. Lord have mercy. Loved him. But they knew that they could not stand still while racists threw excremented them and called them all kinds of filthy, dirty, nasty. They knew that was just not in their nature.
Yeah.
So what in the world could they then do to counter that? That's how they came up with the Black Panther Party for self-defense. Not the Black Panther Party so I could just carry a gun.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Black Panther Party for self-defense, to stop these racist, corrupt police from beating the bejesus out of these brothers, embarrassing them in front of their families, and molesting sisters. That's what it was for, along with feeding our people, making our people go to school. Because we had political education classes. I never taught them because I couldn't teach at that time. I was just a kid myself. But the leaders in the Black Panther Party had school sessions. They called them political education classes. Every week, I forgot how many days it was. It might have been 2 to 3 days a week where the community could come to an open setting or to our office, and they would discuss the history of the world and the history of our country.
And we
That
need it now.
was the Black Panther Party for self-defense. And that's why I'm so happy that I'm able to tell their story. Why? Because right now, this country don't want you to know about the Black Panther Party for self-defense. We've been described as terrorists, which I almost cried, Calinthia. I did when I first heard. Well, they would I had to pull myself together. And then I realized, all right, Regina, you're still on earth. All right. A new generation has come up. If you don't get out there and tell their story, hey, their story might not be told. So I have dedicated my life to making sure everybody knows what the true history of the Black Panther Party for self-defense was. And you're getting it not only from a writer, right? But you're getting it from an original member of the Black Panther Party for self-defense.
And I thank you. I thank you for being able to share the narrative and correct those things that have been said, because, I always say, once you put pen to paper, it becomes a legacy. And,
Yes.
People can't have the ability to change the narrative if they choose to, but it's in your writings, right? So you're out on this platform and you're going to different places to showcase, let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you what really happened. Let me tell you, this ain't what you thought it was. This is actually what happened. Because how I know? Because I was there. And so I thank you for being able to share the narrative with this new generation, allowing them to understand that there is so much power in our history. There's so much that we have and so much we can gain and learn from a Dr. Jennings. And so again, as I started off this conversation, I am truly, truly blessed to be able to stand or see you and have conversations with you about something so powerful. It's our history. You are history. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to have this hour of your time to share your story, to tell people that this this beginning that I had wasn't the greatest, but look at me now. I'm able to share this story and allowing people to see what was planted in me, and what I am able to give to the world. And I can't thank you enough. I tell my audience all the time, I'm a big crybaby, and I'm just happy to be able to just take this time to just really talk to you, Dr. Jennings. I really will impress on the audience to please go out to your YouTube page, Reading with Regina. I learned just in that 15-minute time frame that I had what you had to say. People's name I had no thought of, didn't understand. And now I am going to be that student on Saturday morning, listening to you and taking notes and being able to go and say, you know what, let me go to the library and pick this up. Yes, I write too, but I need to know what the history is behind this. Let me see what's going on here. Because again, knowledge is power. And once you got it, can't nobody take it from you.
Can nobody take, and check this out. I have studied the science behind reading. Reading, reading, not just listening, but actually reading or being read to
Yeah.
does really good things inside the brain.
Mm-hmm.
New synapses are linked together when you
Yes.
read language, as opposed to when you look at TV, that's passive. You are
Yes.
taking in the images of somebody else, and that somebody else might not have your interest at heart.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
But
Mm-hmm.
reading does something wonderful to the mind. If your mind is good, you have a good chance. I don't want to say for sure, but you have a very good chance of having a good body. If
Mm-hmm.
your mind and heart are in sync,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, this is a for sure. Your mind and heart talk to each other all day.
All day long.
Your mind and your heart, they talk,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
I agree.
Now, if your mind is crazy, what do you think your heart is? What do you really? What do you think a heart attack means?
Yeah,
Okay?
that's
But if
true.
your mind and heart are good, linked
Mm-hmm.
to God, whatever you call God, linked to that, there is an energy, people.
Mm-hmm.
There is an energy that's here. Our ancestors know it. Tap into it. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Send up a prayer. I know this is Women's History Month, but send up a prayer for Martin Luther
Mm-hmm.
King. Send up a prayer for Malcolm X. Okay? Send up a prayer for Ida B. Wells. If you don't know who she is, look her up.
Look her up. Look her up.
What is my
Yes,
point?
ma'am.
Keep your mind on goodness.
Yes.
Keep your mind on. You are so powerful. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know how powerful you are. Why? Because this country has not nurtured you to think that you are powerful. But
Mm-hmm.
see, I'm 74. I done lived long enough to see what change means. Like I started off in this interview. When I was a kid, it was Black History Week. Week. What do we have now? We got movies. We got a month. We got all kinds of stuff. We even got a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
You think this country gave us Martin Luther King's Day? Listen here. We fought for that day. I was right up there with Coretta Scott King. Yes, I was. And Stevie Wonder and other people. And I remember them rotten, low-life, racist politicians. Oh, this can't happen. Oh, he was a communist. Yeah, uh-huh. Do we have a
Right.
holiday, people? Do we have a holiday?
We sure do.
Do we? We won. And I want folk to understand when we win, claim it.
Yes.
Claim that win. Nobody gave us anything. I had a brother, I was giving a talk somewhere, and he said, yeah, well, they gave us King and they won't give. I said, they're not going to give you anything. Don't
That's true.
look for a handout.
Yes.
Take what should be here. Create what should be here.
Yes.
That's how I want my people to think. All right.
That's
Just like Dr. Miller mentioned, and I'm going to get off my soapbox in a minute, but just like she just mentioned, this administration, but you know what? Don't hate me when I say this. I'm kind of glad this administration is this administration because this going to wake people up to that you've got to do something about this, man,
true. This is true.
woman.
This
You
is true.
must. That might be why the divine said, all right, he going to win. Hey, I don't know, but I do know where we're living right now. And I also know the power of the people. All
Yes.
power to the people. Black power to Black people. And Panther power to our young. That's what we used to say, Calinthia.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I tell you, this has been an eye opener for me. This has been a history lesson for me. This has been history for me. Just being able to just listen to you and the power behind your words and just the you can hear the love spewing out everything that you say. And we need to take that energy that you're giving out to us tonight and do something with it. We definitely need to do something with it. And again, I'm in awe. I can talk to you all night long, Dr. Jennings. I could.
Thank you,
Um,
sweetheart.
but it's just been an amazing hour with you, being able to tap into all of this resource, because you are a resource. You are
Mhm,
a resource. And
mhm.
again, I cannot say it enough. Please go out to Reading with Regina on YouTube. Make sure you stop by and her website to uh, pull all that information, because I had the opportunity to go out there and look at it too. Beautiful website too, to be
Thank
honest with
you.
you. Beautiful website. But also being able to see the books that she's written. She said 6. I got the latest one, which she was reading out of some poetry out of that. I got the latest one. This is the one that I have. And I actually have taken this to work and put it on uh, my book stand, and people like, oh, that's a beautiful cover. I said, yeah, you need to look
Ah.
at the lady that wrote this, right? And so, but I am going to continue to uh, push the narrative for you, so people can be enriched in history and understand that there is power in us as people, a power that nobody can stop. Only we can
That's right.
stop that. So I thank you for this conversation tonight, Dr. Jennings. It has been enlightening. Again, I know hopefully this will not be the last conversation that we have on
No,
this
anytime
platform.
you want me to come on, just let me know.
I will. I think this is something that we definitely need to have conversations all the time. If we
Mhm.
keep it in the forefront, it won't be lost.
That's right.
Keeping it in people's ears, keeping it at their fingertips, being able to understand that you have the ability, like they go and be on cell phones, or go to a YouTube and get some knowledge. Put it in, as my grandma says, some fat on your head. So, or some meat on your head, or whatever she used to say, whatever it was, it stuck with me. I just knew she was talking about some knowledge.
Right.
So I just say thank you again, for gracing us with your knowledge tonight. And as always, this is a conversation that was needed, my people, my beautiful people. Why not in the month of a Women's Month? We have history. So, Dr. Jennings, I thank you so much for joining us tonight. As I always say before I leave this platform, please make sure you check on your people. Check on those ones who we think are strong, because our strong people still need to be understood, understood to be understood, to be understood. So let
That's
them
right.
understand that they are loved, that they are meaningful, and that even though they're strong, they still need somebody to tell them that they're loved. So before we leave tonight, I just want to say this is Women's History Month, but our history is all year round, 365 days of the year. And so don't let this one month shape who we are. We are women and we carry life, right? So we're going to continue to carry this life on to the next months and the next months and the next months. But again, as I've always say, take care of yourself, be good to yourself. And until next time, I'll see you again with Creative Conversations with Dr. C. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
You are entering the studios of Creative Conversations.